competitors here who are riding in race 1 for the bronze medal, and this is between Lee YC of Hong Kong at the front in the white, the leader of the World Cup after round 1, but she could be losing that now, and she is riding here against Becky James from Great Britain.
Great opportunity here for Becky James to get herself a medal. She was only just beaten here by her countrywoman, Jess Varnish. It was a close fought thing. I think she'll need to try and get in control here if she can, but Lee knows that, and Lee's also coming on leaps and bounds.
They know each other well. She lost, Becky James lost 2-1 actually to Lee YC in round 1 in Cali, Colombia. So I do think that the young rider from Wales can take this gutsy competitor from Hong Kong to the limit. And it is Lee YC that's leading out. And here goes Becky James in that crouching style.
Yes.
James takes it on the line. That crouching, familiar style of hers did enough to see her win race 1.
Just lacking a sharp acceleration, but she didn't need it there. The way that she rode that race, she was able to accelerate at her own pace and used this extra long straight, the height that she's got, to run down towards the line, because you're going a long way round, of course, to get around the competitor, but as you come into the home straight, you're effectively going downhill. Tactically very astute.
Well, that's a great win then for Becky James, 1 up. And I tell you what, having seen that, I think she's got an excellent chance of grabbing bronze.
See here, not a massive speed difference, but she clawed her way forwards, waited to the last possible instant to come out of that slipstream, and then used that slight downhill on the finishing straight to get herself in front.
You're looking there at Jess Varnish, and she's racing against the former junior world champion Kristina Vogel. This is the contest for the gold medal, best of 3. Vogel will lead off here from the inside position. Now then, Vogel is an Olympic gold medalist from London for the team sprint. But Jess Varnish is really fired up for this one. She rode very strongly in the semi, beating Becky James 2-1, and from what I saw of that delivery, I think she's going to stretch Kristina Vogel.
Well, Vogel has got a lot of experience in this event, and she looks to be on great form. So Jess Varnish has certainly got a battle on her hands here, and she's had to work hard already to get here, as Becky James did take her to three rides to get into the final.
Well, Vogel's a former junior world sprint champion, and so is Becky James, a former world junior sprint champion, and Varnish beat her. So she knows she has the ability. Different styles of sprinting. Vogel more punchy, whereas Varnish is a typical 500-meter style rider who likes to go for a long sprint.
Well, they're winding up very quickly. Vogel keeping control of this by accelerating all of the way through. And sure enough, she's leading it into the last lap. Jess Varnish has laid up, I think, just about the right amount here. And I think this has been really well ridden. Has she got the gas?
Yeah, has she got the power? That's the question you've got to ask yourself. She's trying to get them to Vogel now, but Vogel's too quick for her. Vogel, the German, takes race 1. It was a good tactical move by Varnish, just left herself a little bit too much to do.
Well, I think Vogel's actually bluffed a little bit. She made it look like that she was at full tilt with 3/4 of a lap to go, and she still had more to give in that final banking. And it was just 5 meters too far, wasn't it? Just more acceleration there all the way down the back straight.
It was a spirited effort by Varnish. She closed down, just run out of distance. And the side shot, if we get one, or as they come to the line, we'll see, well, she closed up significantly. There we are. It was about 3/4 of a bike length. So this is race 2 in the contest for the bronze medal. You're looking here at the face of Lee YC, everywhere, and right alongside her is Becky James. James 1 up. And I would think that that victory is going to elevate her confidence here, Chris.
Well, it's always better to be one in front, isn't it? It certainly is. A little bit of confidence to take maybe some risks. And you need to race against the other person to get a feel for what their capabilities are. The only way you can do it is in a race situation. She'll have the measure of Lee now. But Lee's really come on leaps and bounds, hasn't she, in the last 12 to 24 months.
Yeah, Lee YC, she took a bronze in the Olympic Games in London for the Keirin. And she rode very impressively last season. That's when she was starting to find her way through the ranks. But Becky James, 20-year-old from Abergavenny, growing in confidence all the time, and she really is a very talented sprinter.
Lee wants to keep control here. James, you can see, just flicking down the track, just trying to encourage her to lead out earlier, leaving her probably about 15 metres there, and keeping her height as long as possible.
And I think she's won that encounter, Chris. She's forced the rider from Hong Kong to take it on, and I think James is now settling down to try and come round the rider from Hong Kong, Lee YC. Can she do it? On the line, no, it was tight, but race 2 goes to Lee YC of Hong Kong, and that will need a decider.
Well, in the previous round, she managed to pull that off, but the speed difference between the two was very small. She didn't quite have the run-up she had in the previous round there. Just wasn't enough. Not a big difference between them. Tactics absolutely critical here.
This was the build-up, and I just thought here the fact that Lee YC had stalled a little bit.
Yes, she did. She hesitated a little bit, and that's the difference in this round there. She waited and waited, and then launched a little bit later, and just caught Becky James out a little bit there. So close.
That was the catalyst for the victory. She underpinned the victory on the fact that she stalled James, I think, and lulled her into a false sense of security. But then it was Lee YC that had the last say. Not a lot in it, but it does mean now we have to go to a decider.